How's the coffee?
Yum. Nice, Shivan.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks for recording.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for your... The coffee machine is always here. No?
Excellent. So today we're going to be making a coffee as a work-at-home employee. Okay, so here's a coffee machine here. And I do have a bit of added extras which I'll talk about in just a second. So I've turned on the machine and left it running for about 10 minutes. So basically I turned it on and I took the dog for a walk. The reason I do that is just under here we have the, I don't know, this is where the coffee goes. And we want this to be nice and warm. So essentially, anything the coffee touches, you want it to be warm. You don't want it to be cold. So when it's inside here and it's on, the machine will warm it up. You can also push the button here and just let water go through if you really want to, and that sort of makes it warm as well. But that's one way of warming it up. So I'll turn that off. Now, this is the first added option. This doesn't come with the machine. This is basically a double shot cup, and the reason I do that and use it is you can, one, measure the number of how much shot there is, because even though you press double shot on here, it doesn't actually give you exactly double shot. That's one reason. But the other reason is I have these really cool cups here. They are double-walled coffee cups, and they don't fit under here, as you can see. So if I'm able to get the coffee in here, then I can pour it inside here, and you'll see that in a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up. So I'm going to put some hot water in there. And there's a function where you turn it off to the side and it just gives you hot water. Because obviously the coffee is going to come into here, it needs to be hot. So let's grind the beans. So get rid of any water here, and we're going to just push the button and it's going to make some coffee. And generally I have to do it by sight. Like the machine, you can set the grind amount and how much you actually want in there, but it's never perfect, and it always spills out, which is really annoying. So I usually take it out, and I have this little mat here. So do you want to come in? Here's the mat, and this mat, what this mat does, it helps protect your nice tabletop from tampering. So tampering is when basically you just pop this on here and push down like so. And I'm going to get some more coffee in there. And essentially what I'm aiming for is, the manual says up to the silver lining, but I just do a little bit more. If I do a little bit less, then the, what do you call it? The espresso, the pressure isn't enough. So I do it by ear. Right, so let's pop this in here. And it's just not tight enough. So in a week, tap it in there, and lock it in so it's nice and tight. Now we get this, and the hot water in here, I can just put it into these cups here. There you go, so now it's making those nice and warm, and just swirl it around, because you want the cups to be nice and warm when they get the coffee. And what I do is I just push this button right here. Do you want to come across here? So there's double shot, and I just push that button right there. And I hold the cup up, and eventually, when it's done like its first kind of dripping, I can bring it all the way down. And you can see it full all the way up. Great. One thing I forgot to mention was when you're extracting the coffee, you want this needle to go inside this grey area here. Too less means the extraction is going to be weak, and too strong is going to mean the coffee is going to be really bitter. You kind of want to be aiming within that zone there. Here's a shot of coffee. Now, another thing I also forgot to mention was these cups here. So this is a double-walled cup. Yeah, it's a double-walled cup. Sorry if the audio is a bit too high, but this is a double-walled cup here. It's made of, I think, borosilicate glass, which is like nice to drink from. Other cups I used to use were these ones here. So that cup there. I used to use this cup to drink from. I think one of them, it's broken, the handle's starting to break. This is a nice cup, you know, it's nice, got a lot of, it's quite big. I enjoy a big cup of coffee. The worst thing in the world is like when coffee ends. I think this is about 400 milliliters versus this cup here is 375 milliliters. And yeah, this was nice to drink out of too. Obviously the saucer version, like the plate it sits on, those broke. But yeah, I just decided to drink from this because I like to be able to hold the coffee, and like double wall looks so cool. It looks really cool. Check it out, how cool that is. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. And you can see the measurement there. There's probably a bit of parallax from the angle of the camera, but it's well over 2.5 shots. And essentially, I'll grab that and I'll pour hot water into there, and I pour the 2 shots of coffee inside here, like so. And what I'll do is I'll make this coffee first, and then I've got 2 coffees, so I'll make one for myself and one for my dad. So we're going to make some milk. Now I've got 2 pitchers here, milk pitchers. It doesn't matter, I don't know why I have 2, but I just have 2. And I've got this little attachment here, or not attachment, but a thermostat, and it basically gives you the temperature. Usually the temperature should be, when you touch the base of the pitcher, it should be just hot enough to touch, but I've got cold fingers and I'm not very consistent, so I just go by this, and I try and get that this arrow inside the range that's been shaded in grey. Can you see that? It's been shaded in grey. So I'm going to add some milk into here. And generally with there's like a little cup, a lip there, and like you want to fill the milk up to the lip, but what I find sometimes if I go to that level, it's too much milk, so I just go below that. It doesn't really matter because I'm making 2 cups of coffee, so I can share the load between the 2. So let's get a little rag. This will do. And this is the steaming one. The steaming one, we're going to be steaming up the milk. Now the issue is there's condensation of water in there already, so we want to get rid of that, and we do that by just purging the steamer. Anytime now. Okay, so that's basically all steam now. You can turn this off. I can pop this steamer inside here. And the idea is we want the consistency of the milk to be like wet paint. So I'm just going to dip that the steaming wand inside the milk. I'm going to bring the steaming wand out just a little bit to introduce a little bit of bubbles. If we do it too much, you get these really big bubbles which aren't nice. And if you don't do it enough, you don't get any microfoam. So the idea is just that kind of Goldilocks zone. If you come across here, you can see the temperature rising. Oops. And you can see I've introduced a bit too many bubbles, but that's okay. You can always make, if the coffee's not perfect the first time around, it can always be perfect the second time you make it, like this video. So you can see the temperature rising, which is really cool. I can feel the milk getting warmer and warmer now. If you have the milk too cold, obviously the coffee is going to be cold. If you have it too hot, that kind of changes the flavor of the milk and makes the coffee a bit disgusting. So I'm getting up to that range now. So I'm at the very edge of that first kind of region. I'm going to turn the steamer off now. And this is really important. I take the milk out, clean the steaming wand, and because there's a little bit of milk at the spout where the steam comes out, you kind of want to purge it again. And so that cleans it up. Now, let's add the milk to the coffee, and I can't do any designs. Designs aren't that important for the flavor. What matters about flavor is how you get the extract and how you steam the milk. Those are the only 2 things. The latte art is just there to make things look cool. You see the milk is very foamy. Cool, there we go. You can do a little bit of a design, but I can't do much. There's a coffee right there. Now the last thing I want to end with is this little thing here. So this is a knockbox, and the knockbox is really important to get rid of your coffee grind. The grind, you can use it in compost, but I used to empty this in the bin and it's caused damage on my little pitcher here. So you can see this knockbox is really handy to prevent that damage. So all I do is just hit this against here, and it comes out, breaks out into pieces, so just like that. And there's a coffee there. So this is how I make a coffee as a remote worker working from home. And I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or tips for me or any feedback, please provide some comments down below. Other than that, stay focused and talk soon.
illustrator.